Hello everybody, it's Hippadippin here, and I know it's been a little while. I've been working on some projects for school, and I'm still going to be doing that, but I felt a little obligated to give you guys, some kind of video. And yeah, so you know what? I just thought I'd do kind of a cool, fun, different video that I haven't done before, and that is trying to decide what item to run on a Pokemon. And this is, I just kind of made this team. Please don't use this team, it's a terrible team. And I just threw this together just because I wanted to use Pokemon that I could use as examples, and, try and show you guys different items you could run on different types of Pokemon, different Pokemon that would fill a role on your team. It's just a little, something I could show you guys to kind of get a point across. And yeah, you know what? Let's get right into it. Again, this is not a team. This is just a bunch of individual Pokemon that I'm going to show you guys with different items. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start off with a Pokemon Aegislash, a fairly popular Pokemon. I haven't used him. I've been kind of interested in using him, but maybe in the future. And so what we can go ahead and do is take a look at his all his stuff here. And for all these Pokemon, I just kind of threw together some basic moves. Not great move sets by any means, but move sets that can work with, or you can kind of determine what item you want to run. And Aegislash has some options. He's one of the more open-ended Pokemon where you can expect to see a lot of different stuff. So let's take a look at his ability. Stance change. This Pokemon changes form depending on how it battles. All that means is when you're not using an attacking move, you're going to be stuck in your shield form, which will make your defenses insane. And but your attacking and special attacking stats are not going to be that great. But since you're not attacking or anything that turn anyway, it's not going to be affecting anything. And what will this do? I can't speak English. What this does is it allows you to maybe set up or do some stuff that you want to do. Maybe predict the opponent to switch out. Whatever. Use a status move, it doesn't matter. But, and until you do that, you're going to be in your shield form, and you can go ahead, status up, whatever, and then you can go ahead and attack. And when you attack, you're going to be in your blade form, and that's going to reverse. So you see these insane defenses, 150, 150, they're going to switch. So attack's going to be 150, defense is going to be 150, and the same for the special attack and special defense, you're going to switch. And until you use the move King's Shield, and until you use that move, you're going to be in your blade form, and you're going to have pretty pathetic attack and defense. So it's a trade-off, really. And it goes. You can work around it. You can go do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. He's a pretty versatile Pokemon, and his item will reflect that. So, going on what I just said about how he needs to use a move to switch between the forms, like King's Shield or maybe an attacking move, you're not going to want to give him an item that's going to lock him into a move. So that's pretty important. You don't want to give him, say, a choice band, You don't want to go ahead and do that, because then he's locked into an attacking move, and say it's a ghost type move, an opponent could switch in a normal type Pokemon and you're going to be stuck. So it is a trade-off, and he has some items that he can totally work with it, though. So, let's take a look at him. And again, this is not just specific to the Pokemon. I'm just giving you guys some unique circumstances to kind of see that if you can find a Pokemon to use this with, sort of, in the future, or, if you find something that kind of has the same circumstance as the Pokemon I'm going over, by all means, do whatever you want, but this is just kind of like a little guide that you guys can use. Anyway, but yeah, let's go ahead and look at some items. For Aegislash, a lot of people like to run leftovers, and if I can get down there, actually, See? Leftovers. And that's kind of good because it allows your defenses to kind of make you live while you're recovering some HP after each turn, so you can set up or whatever. If I were to run Aegislash, maybe I'd run Leftovers, I don't know. Another good item is, what's it called? Weakness Policy. Very good item indeed. And it's pretty effective. And it's all depending on how you want to run this Pokemon. If you want to make him offensive, I'd run Weakness Policy every day of the week. That's what I do. And but if I was making him a little more defensive, you know, shoot, yeah, I'd run Leftovers. But you know, it doesn't matter. It's just how you want to run him on your team, and it's what your team needs that is most important to how you run Pokemon. And that will totally affect what item you're going to want to run on him. You could also run an air balloon, make him immune to ground type moves, which is pretty cool. Single use. You could also run a good berry. I forget the berry that, shoot. Yeah, there's a berry that will weaken a specific attack, like fire or ground or something like that. So you could go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter, but it all depends on what you want to run. And again, I wouldn't run a choice item on any Pokemon that uses a status move, because it's just going to lock them into that, and that's not a fun time. So that's pretty much Aegislash. You can run a lot of different stuff on him. I mean, there's stuff I haven't gone over that you can go ahead and do, and that's pretty cool. But let's move on to our next Pokemon, and that is Azumarill, a very, very popular Pokemon. I want to say that 3 out of 4 teams use an Azumarill, and that's the reason why I don't. You know, I like to be a little unique, so to speak. But as you can see here, it has a pretty okay looking abilities. I mean, his huge power ability is insane. That's great. That's what most people run, and you can go ahead and run that. To be a little unique, maybe you could run Sap Sipper. So, and then when any Pokemon tries to use a Grass type move, like I automatically assume that all Azumarills run huge power, and then I can usually bring in my special attacker, which usually has a Grass type move, and totally take them out. So it's just, you know, if you want to be the mainstream player, by all means, go ahead and use huge power. I'm a little bit different. I like to run stuff a little differently, and maybe I'd run Sap Sipper. But for this set, we're gonna run huge power. Just because it's what everybody uses. So, whatever. And looking at his moves, it is a Belly Drum Azumarill. So we definitely cannot run a choice item on this. Now, if this was a different attack like Waterfall or maybe Superpower, you could run a choice band. By all means, do whatever you want. But since it's not, let's see what we can work with here. And what we can go ahead and do is we can give him a couple of choices here. We can give him an Expert Bell, which would do 1.2 times damage to all super effective attacks, which is pretty nice, and you can kind of play it up as, you know, something you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, you can predict the opponent to think that you have a choice item attached, like a choice band, to an Azumarill. They can assume that, and you can predict that, and then you can go ahead and switch up your moves on them. So that's pretty good. And mind games are a big part of Pokemon, and it can totally determine how a battle is going to go. And another item would be the Citrus Berry, and that will restore 1/4 of your max HP. So that is fine. So take a look at the move Belly Drum. It will decrease your HP by 50% maximum. And if you do that at full health, your Citrus Berry will activate, you'll gain 1/4, and it's like you only took 1/4 of damage to get that insane 6 times attack boost. Now that's incredible. That's really, really good. And you can do it again. If you were to switch him out for whatever reason, if you were to switch Azumarill out and then bring him back in without taking damage, you can go for another belly drum, maybe if the opponent... Sorry guys, my recorder kind of stopped, but like I was saying, this item, Citrus Berry, just allows you to go for 2 belly drums if need be, so that's kind of cool. Like I said, you could also run Expert Belt, you can also run one of the gems, you know, if you wanted to, by all means. And again, if belly drum wasn't here in another item, you can go for a choice band. It's great, awesome, but it's just a bunch of different options. And just like Aegislash, since he has a status move, you're not gonna run a choice. So that's all there is to it. And you could also run one of the plates. Sure, whatever works for your team. It's whatever your team needs. You can make the Pokemon that you want to make them into that. So that's great. Let's move on to another Pokemon, Salamence, one of my personal favorites. I don't use him much, but you know, I think he's pretty cool. And looking at his moves, he does have a status move, which kind of stinks. So normally you won't see a Salamence with a status move, so you know what, let's get rid of that and give him Earthquake. Why not? It's right down here. You know what, that's fine. And he has some pretty good abilities that are working for him, Intimidate and Moxie. Now, you can go ahead and make him an intimidating Pokemon when you switch him in. You can go ahead and intimidate that Pokemon. They might want to switch out if they're a physical attacker in fear of him knocking them out while their attacks aren't doing enough to knock Salamence out, and that is pretty ideal. So, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to leave it as Intimidate. You can also run Moxie, but that's totally up to you. And for his item, what we do want to run is, we have pretty much some options here. We can go ahead and give him a Choice Scarf, make his speed insane, make him outspeed some of the more faster Pokemon like Alakazam. His speed's going to be pretty high, and then we can he can definitely knock out some Pokemon while they are slower than him, so that's pretty cool. Or you can run a Choice Band if you're not too worried about speed. His attack is 1.5, and it's going to be doing some hefty damage to the opponent, and that's what we want to see. And again, just like Azumarill, you could run Expert Belt. You can run the berry that, you know, decreases the ice, the damage you take from ice. That's pretty cool. I don't usually see those, but it's whatever you want to run, it's whatever your team needs. And for this example, I'm just going to give him a Choice Scarf. Why not, you know? For Arcanine, let's move on. His ability is going to be Intimidate also. And looking at his moves, I mean, this guy is a pretty solid attacker. I have not edited the statuses of any of these Pokemon like maybe you've seen. I haven't done any of those EVs because it's all up to the player who wants to decide that. This is not a guide for individual Pokemon. This is just kind of a guide to get you guys to see how you can kind of run items and stuff like that. Looking at Arcanine's stats here, his speed isn't the best, just shy of 100. And if it was 100, you know what, maybe you could run a different item on him. But really, what I like to do is if I'm not running him on a sticky web team, I will give him a Choice Scarf. However, looking at his moves, he does have Extreme Speed. And Extreme Speed is pretty powerful, but it's not Stab. So what you can do is, if you wanted to go for Extreme Speed and just absolutely decimate Pokemon that maybe were weakened by your other Pokemon, you could clean up shop with Arcanine and give him a Choice Band instead. But usually, like I said, I give him Choice Scarf, but it's all up to the player. It's all up to everything that they want to go ahead and do. You can give him an Air Balloon, although I've never ever seen that. You can go ahead and do it. Be unique. Do whatever you want. It's all what your team needs, and that's all that matters. Give him Expert Belt if you want. Actually, you know what? I have run an Arcanine with Expert Belt. I have done it. And, you know, it's worked out. It's worked out pretty nice. And, so that's pretty cool. what we can go ahead and do is move on to Alakazam, another one of my personal favorites. He's pretty good, pretty fast, pretty specially attack oriented, so that's awesome. And what his ability here is, these are good on more defensive Pokemon. Alakazam is likely going down with one super effective physical hit. I mean, usually that's what the case is. And his ability should reflect that. Now, what Magic Guard does is one of the best things any ability can do a Pokemon in the Pokemon games. This Pokemon can only be damaged by direct attacks. So, for example, if you had a wall, right, set out, and another Pokemon was going to go ahead and Toxic it maybe, you can go ahead and switch in Alakazam, and Alakazam is going to be taking that Toxic beautifully. He's not going to be taking any damage from Toxic because he can only be damaged by direct attacks. That way, entry hazards won't work, Life Orb recoil will not affect him. So that is awesome. That's exactly what we need Alakazam to be, and that is what he is perfectly. So, looking at this, say, for example, you do have an extremely fast Pokemon like Alakazam, maybe Jolteon or Crobat or something like that, you can go ahead and run a bunch of different items on him. You can give him a Focus Sash, and that's what I usually do. Oops. There we go. You can go ahead and give him a Focus Sash, you can give him Life Orb, and thanks to that ability, Magic Guard, he's not going to be taking any damage except from attacks. So that's beautiful. That's what we need Alakazam to be. You can go ahead and run, like I said, you can go ahead and run maybe a Life Orb, you know, Air Balloon if it's a Jolteon. You know, fast Pokemon need items that will boost their attacks because of their speed. Now, if a Pokemon is not Scarfed, chances are the fastest Pokemon in the game are going to be outspeeding them, so that's pretty much what fast Pokemon are there for, and they just want to hit harder and be faster than the majority of the opponent's team, and that's what we need them to be. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we need them for on our teams, and that's what I usually do. I usually make my fast Pokemon have a Focus Sash or something that will boost their attacks while them not taking damage. Say, for example, a Life Orb. I remember one team I had a Jolteon on it. I gave him a Life Orb, and he was so fast because of his speed, he was able to knock out Pokemon while taking Life Orb recoil, and he totally swept the opponent's team. Now, the only way that was possible was because he was faster than every other Pokemon, and since Life Orb only takes away 1/10 of your health each time, you can go ahead and knock out 6 Pokemon and only be taking 60% damage. So that is beautiful, beautiful. And that's what really, you know, helps out another team. So you can go ahead and run it if you need it. And for our last Pokemon, we have Cthulhu, one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. Now, for his item, looking at his defenses, he has very good defense, very good special defense, and 105 special defense isn't that common, or anything above 100 is not common special D. So, you know what? You can go ahead and give him an Assault Vest. Not with this set, but if you were to give him 4 attacking moves, maybe special attacking moves like Shadow Ball, Knockoff, Hex, you know, whatever you can do to give him 4 good moves and give him an Assault Vest, he is going to be in there for quite a while. So you can give him an Assault Vest if you want to make him specially defensive. Do that, man, please. Be unique. That's what really, you want to run what you want to run. And if it's not working for you, it's not going to work on your team. So if you want to run an Assault Vest on him, by all means. Usually I, though, give him leftovers just to make his him last out there on the field a bit longer. His abilities Mummy, we've gone over that before in another video. And You know, you can go ahead and give him Nasty Plant. You know, he has options, a lot of options. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. This was just to give you guys some kind of idea. You know, I've made mistakes before, and you know what? I try and learn from them, and I'd like to pass that wisdom off down to you guys. Please don't run the same mistakes that I have done. I remember one time I was running a Sharpedo, and I gave him a Choice Band, and I gave him Protect. And on the very first turn I sent him out, I made him use Protect. And that was the dumbest move I've ever done in Pokemon. I totally lost that battle, and I deserved to. And, you know, it's stuff like that, you know. It may seem obvious, but when you're doing it for the first time, it's very confusing. And I just wanted this to kind of be some kind of guide for people who don't exactly know everything there is to know about Pokemon battling. I don't know everything, but I'd like to pass off what I do know onto people who can use it. So, I'm Hibbidippin. If you like the content, please subscribe. Leave a like, comment, whatever. I appreciate all your guys' feedback, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.